from the street, 919fm.com. Here's what's happening.
Good afternoon. I am Vanessa Thomas with the 12 o'clock news on the streets, 919 FM, and online Facebook and YouTube. In the headlines, Calypsonian Baron, alive and well, urges individuals to get vaccinated. Water parks ready to reopen after 19 months of closure. Cinemas happy to see a way forward, tells unvaccinated employees to get vaccinated or foot the bill of getting PCR testing or find work elsewhere. And internationally, effects of supply shortage begin to set in. And now the news in detail. Calypsonian Baron is alive and well and is urging individuals to get vaccinated. For several weeks, rumors were circulating that Baron had passed away. However, this proved untrue when the man with the sweet voice appeared as a special guest performer at Saturday's One Shot and Done Johnson & Johnson vaccination drive at the Brian Lara Promenade. Looking healthy and well, Baron performed one of his hit songs. As for those still hesitant to take the vaccine, Baron had this message.
The vaccine long time. Yeah, not playing that. Great. I would like each and every one of you to do the same. Take the vaccine.
In other news, following 19 months of closure, water parks have been given the green light to resume operations as a safe zone. The announcement came on Saturday at the weekly media briefing, and for water park owners, the reopening came as a surprise. One water park owner, Vijay Ramai, of Fun Splash Water Park in D-Bay, says although the announcement came as a surprise, his establishment is ready to welcome customers. He says besides staff training, not much preparation is needed to do so.
We're always maintaining the facility and keeping the facilities up to standards because the water chemistry especially had to be constantly monitored. The flora, the fauna of the water park environment has to always be maintained. So I don't think that we needed any advance notice. We were ready to open.
Mr. Ramai commented on the hefty fines outlined for unvaccinated people at safe zones and said he does not see this as an issue.
One should be aware of the consequences that would be associated when you infect somebody or you choose not to infect somebody. The fine maybe yes, may sound a little bit harsh, but if you follow the rules and regulations, there's no fine.
Mr. Ramai, meanwhile, does not foresee any challenges with his staff and noted that they are all vaccinated, but says customers will have to send a copy of their vaccinated card as well as their ID card if they plan to visit his water park to ensure a smooth arrival.
I believe that that with government's policy, very soon they may also have something coming in place that could ensure that the kids under 12 visit the safe zone.
Mr. Ramai is grateful for the reopening, saying he will now be able to generate revenue to repay loans taken to maintain the facility and hopes to get business back to a level of normalcy. In more news, on Saturday, government announced that cinemas will be able to reopen as part of the safe zones, but unvaccinated staff will have to apply for a medical exemption or deferral certificate from a public medical officer, along with a mandatory PCR test every 2 weeks. On hearing the news, the Chief Executive Officer at Cinema One Limited, Ingrid Jara, says the industry is happy that there is now a concrete way forward to treat staff who have a legitimate reason not to be vaccinated. However, she says the company will not be able to bear the cost of PCR tests for employees and believes unvaccinated employees would have to decide whether to foot the cost or find employment in an industry where they can coexist with vaccinated individuals.
We are not able as an employer to support that cost for them because we have been closed. We've been closed 3 times, since the pandemic. So it is a very unfortunate position that persons who want to come back to work in the cinema sector, and I'm sure the other sectors as well.
Ms. Jara does foresee some challenges to verify vaccinations card on entry, but is hoping government's digital verification system would be rolled out soon to allow for a free flow.
level of queuing to the customer service, even before you get into the space, right? So it is going to add. We will have to manage it. We will, but only know till you operate and you see, oh my goodness, there are 300 people waiting to get in at the same time. What do we?
The Cinema One CEO expects to have a steady welcoming of customers on October 11th, saying there is strong movie content to reopen its doors at 50% capacity. International news now, the effects of supply shortage are worsening and it is set to begin soon. Shipping backlogs are being reported as record high. We have this ABC News report telling us more.
Tonight, record shipping backlogs sparking shortages of cars, clothing, and electronics, with the holiday shopping season right around the corner.
The level of uncertainty is really unprecedented.
Billions of dollars of goods floating in limbo. Dozens of cargo ships now stuck off the ports in Los Angeles and New York, with wait times to dock stretching up to 3 weeks. Struggling to keep up with surging demand, the global supply chain rocked by COVID-19 disruptions, causing a lack of workers.
There are shortages across a number of industries, perhaps nowhere more acutely so than in frontline workers, such as port workers and truck drivers.
Much like the start of the pandemic, Costco once again limiting purchases of toilet paper and paper towels. Making matters worse, COVID outbreaks shutting down factories in Southeast Asia, cutting production. Half of Nike's clothing factories in Vietnam forced to close. Under Armour and Apple also feeling the pinch. And it's not just big corporations.
If you see something you like, go ahead and buy it.
George Jones owns a toy store in Alabama, urging people to start shopping soon.
Yes, you can see it online, but if you you're going to give them your money and you give them your credit card, when are you going to receive that merchandise? It may be too late.
Experts say Americans may feel the pain of supply chain problems through the new year and beyond.
And that was the 12 o'clock news on the street, 919 FM, and online Facebook and YouTube. Recapping the headlines, Calypsonian Baron, alive and well, urges individuals to get vaccinated. Water parks ready to reopen after 19 months of closure. Cinemas happy to see a way forward tells unvaccinated employees to get vaccinated or foot the bill of getting PCR testing or find work elsewhere. And internationally, effects of supply shortage begin to set in. To enjoy your afternoon and continue to be safe, I am Vanessa Tong.
Broadcasting from Trinidad to the world. The Street 919FM.com.